whatever you do, however terrible, however hurtful, it all makes sense, doesn't it? In your head? You never meet anybody who thinks they're a bad person. So a few disclaimers real quick before I get really into this, because I just finished the movie and my head is swimming with all the insanely wonderful things to say, and I want to stop this from being a 5-hour review. These videos are unedited, unfiltered, so whatever comes out of my mouth is what comes out of my mouth. If there are kids in the room, you probably want to either ask them to leave the room or put headphones on. And if you're sensitive to certain language, you might not want to listen to this. And spoilers will happen. Spoilers always happen, especially for the movie that I'm talking about, which tonight is Joker. And there is so much to say and so much for you not to hear if you have not seen the movie. So please, if you haven't seen the movie, I would suggest not listening to this review before you see the movie. So those are my disclaimers. And again, I just said tonight's review is of Joker. And it is, if I can get my finger in the right position right there, it is on the poster. And it's the last row on the poster that I did not have anything marked off on. So today marks the day where I finish every row. I have at least one in every row. And so from now on, I will not be reviewing everything that I mark off on the poster, because to date, I have been reviewing everything that's been on the poster, but there are so many on the poster I've already seen. There's no way one that I'll review because of one reason or another, and I'm just not going to. So from now on, I will try to make sure that the milestones 25, 50, 75, maybe like 80 or 90, 95, 99, 100 when I finish the poster. I'll try to make sure that those movies are milestones and that I actually pick something that I can review. But from now on, I'm going to be watching a bunch of movies that I'm just going to be marking off on the calendar and not reviewing. Or excuse me, the poster and not reviewing. But of course, you will get everything in the book. 52-week, Everyone's a Critic Challenge book. Every single one of these I will actually make a review of, and today is challenge number 19, which is rich versus poor. There is so much rich versus poor in this film. So much is about that that I couldn't not make it this review. This review had to be this one. I mean, of the things on the poster, just had to be this one. Okay, so let's get into it already. The book says the movie title. Obviously, I've already said that. Joker, year released 2019. Aspect ratio 1.85:1. Running time 2 hours and 2 minutes. Genre crime, drama, thriller. That's the order that it's in on IMDb. Rated R. Of course it's rated R. You could not have made this fantastic of a movie without rated R. Starring Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro. Now, those are the only people I put in the book. Those are not the only people in the film. Those are the only people on when you buy the DVD or Blu-ray, it says, Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro. They are the focal points. But I do want to take a second and just acknowledge some other people that were very, very amazing, fantastic actors, actresses in this film, and their work in this film made a difference. Frances Conroy, who played Penny Fleck, she was so great. She did such a great job. Zazie Beetz, who played Sophie, the girl down the street, or the girl down the hall. She does such a great job as well, playing the two sides of the character. We'll get into that. Again, spoilers, so be careful. Who was the other one I really wanted to mention? It wasn't just... Who was the other one I wanted to mention? Sharon Washington did a great job. I mean, a really good job. She has a small part, but she does a great job as the social worker. The other one I really, really wanted to mention, I don't know why I can't remember his name, Brian Tyree Henry. Oh my God! Okay, yes, he has such a small part in this, but I have more to say about him later. So, that's starring, directed by, okay, so this is a Todd Phillips film from the beginning to the end. He produced, directed, wrote, he did everything. Okay, so he directed, he produced along with Bradley Cooper, which I didn't realize, who actually produced. This is not an executive produce. This is not a co-executive produce. He actually produced the film. So Todd Phillips, Bradley Cooper, and Emma Tillinger-Koskoff. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. Written by Todd Phillips again. Scott Silver. Music by, okay, I'm going to get this wrong because she was born in Iceland. I had to look her up. I'm going to get this wrong because this is not a name that I could ever pronounce, and I hope that I don't butcher it too much. Hildur Gudnadoltir. Gudnadoltir. I'm hoping that's right. Gudnadoltir. Oh, Jesus, the music for this. I constantly made notes that the music was perfect. The music was perfect here. The music was perfect here. And awards received, so fitting that it won. It won for music, but it was nominated for 11 Oscars, which is insane. Wow. Nominated for 11 and only won 2? That's a shock. That something is nominated for that many Oscars and only won 2. One for the music, and of course, oh my God, Best Actor in a Leading Role, Joaquin Phoenix. The transformation, the insane work that he did to become Arthur Fleck / Joker is... This is one of the years where I was like, if he doesn't win, I'm going to fucking protest Academy, because he deserved it hands down. Okay, so give me a... Okay, now I know every time I downsize my camera, it shuts it off. Remember before I was having problems with it cutting me off, and I said these are unedited, and then I had to put 2 together? Well, I just found out, trying to pull up my Oscar list, I have to do this ahead of time, because when I downsized it and pulled this up, it cut off, it stopped my recording. So I caught it, I'm starting recording again, just pulled up my Oscar list, looking at that year for Joker, actor in a leading role, Joaquin Phoenix for the Joker. I'm sorry, I said the Joker. The movie is actually Joker, no the. Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory. Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Adam Driver for Marriage Story. And Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. Okay, so the only 2 movies I've seen of those films are Joker and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I've told you before, Quentin Tarantino is my favorite director, and of course I would have seen that film. Now, Leonardo DiCaprio was fucking amazing in that movie. Brilliant. But this transformation, Joaquin's literal transformation, not even seeing Joaquin, puts him a cut above Leonardo DiCaprio. And I have not seen the other films, so I can't really say, but I can't believe that anybody went through that much of a transformation to destroy themselves and become someone else entirely. So much so that you believe they are that person. And I can't imagine any of these other people, Adam Driver, Jonathan Pryce, Antonio Banderas, had gone to that length to become someone else. So absolutely, oh my God, totally deserved. Back to the book. Why did you choose this film? It's on the poster, and I love this movie. It's absolutely amazing. If it were not for 2 scenes in the movie, and we'll talk about those later, if it were not for 2 scenes in the fucking movie, I would literally say this is a perfect 10 or 5-star, 10-star, whatever you want to say, that could absolutely rival Shawshank Redemption as a perfectly made film, in my opinion. But there are 2 scenes that fuck that up entirely, and we'll talk about those later. Okay. Have you seen this movie? Okay, so I tried to, you know what? green drink in honor of Joker. I can't make a purple drink, or I'm pretty sure I could, but I want to try to make a point from now on. Have you seen this movie? To say, yes, I've seen it. Do I own it? Yes, I own it. And did I see it in theaters? Yes, I saw it in theaters. Okay, all three of those fit this one. Would you recommend this film? Oh! Okay, so that's a really hard one. This is a very serious film about a very serious topic. Yes, it's Joker, and people might misunderstand that this is a comic book film. This is not a fucking comic book film. Not in the slightest. Not in the not even in the concept. This is about a character that was created in cartoon, absolutely. But I think Todd Phillips really wanted to show how he wanted to take Nolan, who took a comic book film and made it so real and realistic. He made a Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises, and he wanted to bring it home and make it so real. And Todd Phillips, I think, making this film, wanted to go a step above that and make this so relatable and so real and so gritty and amazing that you would think that this is real. This really happened. This is a real character. This is a real, this is a documentary instead of a fucking movie, instead of a fictional film. And I think he accomplished that, aside from blah, blah, blah. We'll move on to that. Okay, what character would you most able to identify with or connect with? You know what? I did not answer that this time. Why did I not answer that this time? I have seen this movie a number of times, and like I said, I like to do the book before I sit and watch the movie and make my notes. And I did that, and I couldn't come up with it. And then I watched the movie and couldn't come up with it. I'm like more than halfway through just loving the film and hating every time I have to pause to make a fucking note for this review. And I just went, I'm not even going to I don't even want to think about that. There's no one I can think about that I relate to. And I wanted to get here and do the review before too long, so I didn't even I'm actually crossing that off, not even doing that question in the book. That it doesn't work in this film. In my opinion, doesn't work in this film. Best line or memorable quote. The line that I remember, the line that I love, is all I have are negative thoughts. When he's when he's talking to the therapist. So anyway, let's move on. That's a really good line. There's a lot of great lines in this movie, but that one always sticks out to me. All I have are negative thoughts. When he's telling her, you don't listen to me. Were you surprised by the ending? Yes, in the best possible way. Was I surprised that they went... and I've said this in another review. What do you consider the ending? Do you consider the very ending when he's in the asylum and he is talking to the therapist for the last time? Yeah, okay, most people would consider that the ending. Was I surprised by that? No, I wasn't surprised by that. I was surprised that they decided to put that in. I would have been perfectly fine if they ended, at the riot scene. That felt like a great ending, and it could have been a great ending. Now, I'm not saying that the ending he put in wasn't great. It worked. It's perfectly great. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. When he walks down the hall and blah, blah. Okay, I'll talk about that later. But the surprise ending that I'm thinking of is when he shoots Murray. Okay, spoilers. Don't watch this if you don't know, or if you haven't seen it. When he shoots Murray, was I surprised by it? Yes, I was surprised that they did what I wanted them to do. And by that point, I was like, if he doesn't fucking shoot him, I'm going to be so disappointed. And then when he did, I was still surprised that he did it. And it was perfect. It was perfect. God, it was the Joker that I wanted. And that's a note later on. So yeah, yes. So if you consider that the ending, then yes. How do you feel the class or income disparity contributes to the conflict of the story? I mean, that is it. That's the whole point. His mother's constant, their constant struggle at being, not having money and not getting the care that he needs, the medication that he needs, the Social Security or whatever shut down, and so he doesn't get any social worker shut down, so he doesn't get any therapy, he doesn't get any medication. She has no money. They're living in poverty. They can't do it. I mean, it's that's what this whole movie is about. And then that scene, I'll talk about that later. So that's what this whole movie's about. Anything else you'd like to say? This is so Taxi Driver. When I saw it and I left the theater, it didn't take me, it took me less than 24 hours to go, that was fucking Taxi Driver. Like, holy shit. Now, am I a huge Taxi Driver fan? I love it. I own it. But I'm not like a huge taxi fan driver taxi driver fan that I had seen it 100 times. No, I'd only seen it a couple of times. Once, twice, maybe 3 times, maybe. And at the time, I didn't own it. So I had only seen it maybe 2-3 times at most. And I didn't own it. It was this movie, after I bought this movie, that made me want to buy Taxi Driver. And went, I gotta have it. Because it really is. They're the same. They're so similar, made in completely different eras, about completely different people and completely different things, but they are the same. And then when I found out that Todd Phillips, it was his inspiration, Taxi Driver, I was like, of course. Well, of course. It's so apparent that Taxi Driver was his inspiration for this. So at the very bottom of the book, there's always this little thing that says, Trading Places, 1983 inspired a new rule on Wall Street, barring people from using secret inside information to corner markets. Oh, well, I'm good. I'm glad something good came out of Trading Places. I like that movie. It's fun. It's great. But it has no place in my review of Joker. Okay, so I've got plenty of notes. I don't want to get too, like I said, I don't want this to be a 5-hour review. And I've got just, I could literally talk about every scene. And there are so many movies where I could talk about every single scene. And I don't want to, take forever and you listen to me rambling for, 5 hours. The very, very opening scene sets the tone for the movie, the entire movie. That opening scene where he's putting on his makeup and the choices. Okay, nobody talks. We're listening to the radio, talking about Gotham and all the turmoil that's going on in Gotham and all the stuff all the negative stuff, because the news only ever really reports negative stuff, or if they report anything positive, it's like a blip, a half a second, and then they move on. Anyway, what I appreciate and what I love about this scene and what this scene sets up is that the director makes some really amazing choices and tells you I'm talking about something very serious and I know what I'm doing. The handheld camera, and sometimes it's a little shaky, gets you in that personal space of the Joker. So of Arthur. We don't know who he is yet. We know the movie's called Joker, so we know who he is. But I need to call him Arthur because he's not really the Joker yet. So I need to force myself to call him Arthur. So we see Arthur putting on his makeup for his job. Okay? And the movement of the camera gets us a little personal, gritty, personal, okay? And then that scene, that real quick, where he's out of focus in the mirror, and then he slowly focuses in. So he's making some really neat choices that gets us really personal, gets us to focus on Arthur, even though all we hear is the news report that's going on. Again, we're forcing you to do 2 things. Focus on Arthur, because he's the reason why we're here. We're watching this movie. And 2, listen to what's being said in the report, because nothing else is going on the screen. He's just putting on his makeup, which is so mundane, we would think. There's nothing going on that's important except for what you're listening to. So, much like I said in Reservoir Dogs, the review of Reservoir Dogs, where the beginning of it, Tarantino is doing those shots where you can almost not see people's faces because they're behind almost the entire screen is covered up by the back of somebody's shoulder and you see part of somebody's face. He's forcing you to listen to what they're saying and pay attention to the people who you're seeing. Okay, so this is not a quick action scene. This is not, an opening James Bond scene. He's forcing you to see Arthur and forcing you to listen to the news report, and it's very well done. The music is so eerie and so wonderful, and holy Jesus. So anyway, that's my next note. But what I love is that scene is so serious and so real and so gritty and so and then right after you have that delightful bing, ding, ding, we've just come from this really serious, like really quick, like he's doing his makeup, he can't smile, and he's sad, and then we go to that that ridiculous, almost carnival like piano, the shot of New York, Gotham, New York, and then the beautiful script of the titles of the it's such a dichotomy. It's such a brilliant like contrast between the two. The split between like we're watching something serious, something drama, something real, and then we're watching a comedy and something ridiculous and something fun. That choice to do that was brilliant. And then he's dancing with the sign and blah blah blah, and then he gets his ass kicked. The music is really, really great. The music is very eerie. She did such a great job. And so many parts, it's just like, wow, that fits so brilliantly. His laughing condition, when he talks to when he first talks to the therapist, he's just laughing. You know that there's a condition, there's something wrong. I don't know if that's a real condition. And I'm not here to make fun of anybody. I'm not here to I did my review of Legend and had a thought that I might have sparkleophobia, which is a phobia of glitter. And so instead of hypothesizing, or instead of saying something wrong, I decided to seek help, talk to a therapist. I actually talked to a therapist and have been diagnosed with a mild phobia, an actual phobia. I fit 6 of the 7 qualifications for a phobia of glitter. So yes, I do have sparkleophobia, but it is on a very small scale. It's not on a huge scale. So I get that mental illness is serious. I am not here to say it's not. And I'm not here to say it's not real, because it is real. And I know it's real. Okay? His condition, his laughing condition, I don't know if that's a real condition or not, but he makes me believe it. Joaquin Phoenix's performance makes me believe it. Not only does he make me believe that it's a real condition, but he makes me believe that he really has it. Because the spontaneity of his laugh and how it happens and when it happens, and the fact that he struggles with it and it hurts him, is brilliant. Was that his choice? Was that Todd Phillips' choice? I don't know, but it was a brilliant choice, because it makes me as the audience absolutely believe he has this condition. And it makes it real. It makes the condition real. How he treats it, how he survives it. And that first scene with on the bus, when he's trying to make the kid laugh, because he's a clown, that's his job. It's sad to see that the mother, her first reaction to him trying to make the kid laugh, and the kid is laughing, is like negative. Her first reaction, stop bothering my son. It's so sad to see that all he's trying to do is kind of do his job. I mean, he's used to being a clown, so he's kind of just trying to do his job, but also trying to connect. You can tell he's trying to connect. Arthur is trying to connect, even though it's just a kid. And her reaction is so, it's probably, that's probably the point, that she overreacts, that it's negative, because then he starts to laugh, which is totally contrary to the situation, and he gives her the card and the card explains his condition. So yes, it was a perfect vehicle for explaining his condition without explaining it, for showing it on the card. So it was a perfect setup. It was a perfect scene. I mean, just like Shawshank Redemption, so many perfect scenes. This was a perfect scene to show that. It's just also, as the audience, sad to see that her first reaction was negative when he was just trying to make the kid laugh. Another similarity to Taxi Driver, even though this is supposed to be Gotham, I get that, but it was filmed in New York, or largely filmed in New York. I think it was also filmed in New Jersey and Newark and things like that, but mostly filmed in New York. But the grittiness and the shitty side of New York, the grittiness, the dirtiness, the shitty, the being uncomfortable walking down the street is captured so brilliantly in this film, and in Taxi Driver as well. Taxi Driver is so gritty and raw, and that like it definitely makes you feel like I don't want to walk down the street in New York, and this does too. Well, this is Gotham, but still, the Murray Franklin dream. Oh my God! So when he goes home to mom and gives her the TV dinner, they do a good job a few times of making it look like this is a period, even though they don't actually say what year it is. You can definitely assume this is probably 80s or 70s or 80s or something like that. The TV dinner she brings him is in a tin container, which is not what they're in now. I mean, they stopped doing that back in the 90s, 80s, 90s. Anyway, a couple of choices that they made were kind of neat to keep it kind of period, but they don't actually say what time you're in or what year you're in. But anyway, what I wanted to mention was when he goes home, gives her the food, and then the Murray Franklin show comes on. And, he gets in bed with her and is watching the show. His daydream of it's night, but still, his waking dream, his daydream of being in the audience of the Murray show is so brilliant because it's so relatable. Haven't you had a dream that is so like beyond what your circumstances would dictate, and you daydream it to like the umpth degree, like every little detail, and that's what this is. It's so well done, and so it's just brilliant. Like I just want to be an audience in the show. And then what if I were the audience and he just happened to talk to me? And what if he happened to talk to me and then I have to mention that my mother loves me and that, I take care of her and that she thinks that I'm here to make everybody laugh. And then what if he brought me on the show? Like, not just because I was in the audience, but actually brought me on the show. And it really is relatable and wonderful and brilliant and just so well done. I love that scene. Oh yeah, when he kicks the shit out of the garbage. So is that when he gets fired? No, that's not when he gets fired. When his boss tells him about the sign that. Okay, so in the opening scene, the sign, the kids steal it. They beat him up and they break it. And then his boss tells him you have to give it back to him or pay for it. And he's like, why would I steal a sign? Okay, that's frustrating in itself. But what I love is right after that scene where he's literally like being chastised by his boss, we're going to take it out of your pay, and he's just like not saying anything. Why would I steal it? That makes no sense. And he just and the boss is not listening to him, and he's just not saying anything. He's just sitting there with a big smile on his face. They're slowly drowning out the audio of the boss because they're focusing on him. They're slowly moving in on him, which is brilliant. And then cut to he's in the alley like beating the fucking shit out of the trash. It's such a great scene. It just it expresses his suppression, his constant suppression of how he feels. Part of that might be the medication, who knows? But part of that is just that he feels like he can't really be himself. He can't express who he is. He can't be, and all that pent up anger and frustration, and he's just beating the shit out of the trash until he literally can't kick anymore. Ugh. it really drives the point home. I mean, like, that scene is so simple but so brilliant. It just drives the point home. And again, the music is like eerie as fuck. She does such a great job at like capturing the moment in the music. Because right after, he's walking up those stairs, those ominous big long stairs, and he's walking up, and it's the same drudge and like depressing and suppressing music. And he's walking up those stairs, and you feel it. The music makes him feel heavier and heavier and heavier. He's carrying 1,000 fucking pounds on his shoulder, and you can see it as he walks up the stairs and feel it in the music. Brilliant, brilliant. Spiraling down. Oh yeah, that. Have you not felt that spiraling down feeling of everything going wrong, and like, is anything ever gonna go right? And I feel that's so captured in that moment where he's in the phone booth and he gets fired, because right before that, he was dancing and doing that song at the children's hospital, and the gun accidentally falls out of his pocket, and he kind of tries to hide it, and then he gets fired doing what he loves. It was an accident, yes. He didn't mean to do it. Obviously, at this point, that's not his character. He would never have done that on purpose. But the spiraling down feeling of like suppression of everything going wrong, and then getting fired, and then that guy who gave you the gun is saying that you tried to buy a gun off it, like lying about that. It's just like everything, like really, 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 like, how can this get worse? I think they captured it really, really well, and his like slamming his head into the phone booth wall or whatnot. It's just, again, Todd Phillips really brought this home, realistic, and a lot of people have felt that frustration, and a lot of people have had those days where it just feels like everything's going wrong. Is anything going to go right? And he captures that really, really well in that moment. And on purpose. Why? Because we're supposed to relate to Arthur. Why? There's a reason. We're supposed to connect with Arthur. Why? There's a reason. There's a reason. And it all comes down to that scene, that big scene at the end. Anyway, okay. The rich assholes in the subway. Okay, so the rich assholes on the subway. It's so well done. Again, here's another example of we're supposed to feel sympathetic. We're supposed to connect with Arthur. Why? Because we want him to be... We want the payoff at the end. I know I'm fucking this all up. It's a total giveaway. Why? Because we want that at the end. And this is why Todd Phillips has done such a great job of making us connect to Arthur and his struggle and his strife, and feel the same things that we have felt so many times, that we identify with him at the end and want him to have that moment at the end that he has on the show. Anyway, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but the assholes on the subway was so shocking to me. I didn't expect it. Holy shit. When he shoots them, it's such a brilliant scene that you have to forgive the fact, literally forgive the fact, that he shoots like a dozen fucking shots out of that 6-shooter, that 38. He shoots like 15 or 20 fucking shots out of it. I mean, to show that I am not exaggerating, when he's following the last one and he gets off the train, he shoots him in the back once. He falls, he goes up to him, he shoots him in the back 3 more times before the gun runs out. So that is 4 shots in that one quick scene. But the guy is hobbling away. Why? Because he already shot him in the leg. That's 5 shots already in one guy. So I am not exaggerating when I say he shoots like a dozen times out of that fucking 6-shooter. So you have to forgive the fact that that is just totally fucking wrong. Like, okay, let it go. They do that in almost every film. There are very few films where they really pay attention to how many bullets are in that gun. Last Action Hero, funny, a movie that is making fun of action movies actually pays attention to how many bullets are in the gun at the end of the movie when they're in real life, and what's his name is shooting at Jack, and he actually has 5 bullets in his 6-shooter, yes, because he left one chamber empty. So the the amount of bullets were correct. And funny that this movie, trying to be so real and trying to be so serious, like shoots a dozen fucking shots out of a 6-shooter. So, yes, there are certain things that you just have to kind of forgive. Okay, let it go. It was a beautiful scene. It was so shocking and amazing. And again, like I said, it gets you on Arthur's side. Because here are these assholes being pricks to this girl, this random girl on the subway, and when and then beating the shit out of him for no reason. You are like, yes, when he fucking shoots them. Yes. Fucking assholes. Yes. So is the whole city. So is Gotham. The entire city. I mean, that's what the rest of the film is about. The entire city is like on his side about shooting these assholes on the subway. The only one that's not on his side is Thomas Wayne. Okay. Oh, right after that. Oh my God. Okay, so right after that, when he's freaking out, after he shot him, he runs, like thinking that he's going to get caught because he just shot these people. Okay. And then he runs into that gritty, disgusting, like no man's land fucking bathroom. Again, this is such a brilliant fucking scene. Like the opening scene. It has so many wonderful things to say. And it's perfectly done. The grittiness of the bathroom, the fact that it's at night, all the graffiti, the fact that the whole mirror is like part of it's all totally obscured and you can't really see, it's all fucked. The blinking light, the flashing light overhead, the one light over the bathroom mirror that's out and one of them's on and it's a soft yellow or it's an ugly yellow. Just every little fucking thing in this scene is perfect. And then how when he starts to dance, it's so close up, all you can see is his arm, or all you can see is his face. Like literally, you can't really tell everything that he's doing, but it's showing the parts that are moving. And then slowly we start to back up and show more of him and more of him dancing. And you're just like, what the fuck? And then his feet, and it's just brilliant. God, it's so brilliant. It's so well done. And it captures the moment. It captures his, because when he first gets in the bathroom, he locks the door and he's freaked out and he's out of breath and he's freaked out. But what? He starts to dance. Why? Because he finally has not suppressed that frustration and that anger towards someone or something. He finally acted out and did something, and that's why he dances. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm taking the morality out of it and just saying the movie, the character, it's brilliant. He has finally decided to do something, right or wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm not here to comment on right or wrong. I'm here to comment on the movie and make my talk about the movie, not about real life. Okay? So this is a movie, and it's brilliant that he finally succumbs and does something about his feelings and expresses. And that's why he's dancing and happy and like, woo, and oh my God. Wow. That scene is just, it's spine tingling. It's so perfect. Perfect. He runs into the bathroom. No more therapy, no more meds. I mean, it's how like life. Right after that, he finds out that funding to social services has been cut. So he has no more therapy, no more meds, and someone who really needs it. Someone who really needs therapy, who really needs medication, who really needs focus someone to focus on him. And she, he even says, you never really listened to me. Someone quality to focus on him and help him through his problems so he's not acting out like he did on the fucking subway. Okay? So someone who really needs it cannot get the help. Why? He doesn't have money. How like fucking America, the only place in the fucking world where you can go bankrupt because of medical bills. It's insane. The people who really need help, no, we're not going to give help to you. Why? Because there's no money in for us. You can't afford it. Why would we do that? And it's so very well expressed in this film. So perfectly expressed in that scene where he's just like, well, how do I get my medication? And she's like, sorry. Someone who we know as the audience absolutely needs it is not going to be able to get it. Why? Because the government cut funding. Thank you, government. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm assuming it's the director's choice. Because I saw an interview that Martin Scorsese did. And they said when they were filming that part with Goodfellas, they're filming the part where Robert De Niro is looking at Billy Batts after he fucked with little Tommy and was like, go get your shine box, and then Tommy leaves and says, bring him here or something like that. When he does the whole, you insulted him a little bit. You did. You insulted him a little bit. Oh, let's have a drink. Let's have a drink. And then he looks at him, and that look that he gives him. Martin Scorsese said that he gave a note to the DP or he gave a note to his assistant or something like that, a specific song. So when he was filming that, he somehow just in his head heard the song that eventually he put to Goodfellas. And if you watch it, I forget what song it is, but it's perfect. It's brilliant. And so he heard that song when he was just literally just filming it. Filming Robert De Niro acting. And that song just popped in his head and he said, just write this down. Just make this note. Because that's what he saw and heard. Okay. Why do I bring that up? Smile by Jimmy Durante. Holy shit. I felt there was nothing better, there was nothing more perfect than Jimmy Durante singing Smile at the moment in the film Joker that Todd Phillips decided to put it there. Halfway through Arthur's comedic, first comedy stint at that place, Pogo or whatever, his girlfriend is there. They're on a date. And Smile literally drowns out everything. There's no audio except for Smile. And if you've ever heard Jimmy Durante sing Smile, or if you've ever listened to the song Smile or know the song Smile, it's like this film. It's such a dichotomy. It's such a contrastic song, because here we are talking about being Smile, but we're also talking about at times of heartache, and the way he sings it is a little bit sad and depressing. At the same time, he's talking about trying to smile and keep your heart light. So it literally is a contrast in itself. The song and the way he sings it is a contrast in itself. That this was a perfect time to put it in the film. Holy shit. I don't think I've ever really felt like that was No, I can't say that. There are times where I've just felt like, God, that was the perfect fucking song to put there. And this was one of those times that stands out in my mind. That brilliant choice for a song. Perfect part, perfect song. It was just meant to be. And it couldn't have been better. And that she says, so while Smile is playing and that they're on the date and they see the newspapers about the vigilante and she says, you know, the vigilante is a hero. Good for him. Those fucking rich assholes. 3 in only 168 to go or whatever she says. The fact that she is on the vigilante's side makes perfect sense. Because as we know, and spoilers, please, spoilers. As we know, this is all in Arthur's fucking mind. She's not really there. But it's brilliant. It's just like the daydream of being on the Murray Show, that he would orchestrate her being on his side in his daydream. But so subtly. This is what I love about it. It's so subtly that she's not saying, good for you, Arthur. She's not finding out that it's Arthur. She's just saying, well, good for him. Good for and it's a random, like, little thing on their date. The date is longer. It's so subtle that we believe it's real. As the audience, I believe that they're really on a date. I believe that she really said that. And she believes in the vigilante. Why? Because half the city is on the fucking vigilante's side. So of course we believe in her. Because she already hates, you know, when we know the scene from the very real scene, when she says, you know, this fucking apartment is falling apart. And she does the whole, you know. So we already know how she feels. She lives in the same fucking building. She's just as deprived as he is financially. And for her to say this makes sense. And so we believe she's on this date with him. We believe that she has said this. We believe that she's on the vigilante's side. And so it's so relatable. It's so subtle and real. It's it's great. This movie is so fucking great. The Letter to Thomas Wayne. Just when you think this movie has turned you in as many ways as you can possibly imagine. We've had turns and twists and like, oh great, you know, new revelations and new, oh my goodness. Just when you think you've had it all. This letter to Thomas Wayne from Penny Fleck, from his mom, saying that Arthur is his son and you need to help him. He's a sad boy. Oh my God! If we didn't have enough twists and turns, here's another brilliant turn of events that's just, God, that's perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Writing, Todd Phillips. Whoever did this scene, whoever brought that up, damn, that's great. I mean, half the movie's about him believing. Anyway. Okay. I hate to do this because this is such a fantastic fucking movie. But this is my review of the movie, and I get to say whatever the fuck I want. Why? Because it's my opinion. I am not saying anything that is fact. I am not saying that that the entire Academy probably agrees with me, because I'm not. I am saying, in my opinion, there are 2 scenes in this film that fuck it up and stop it from becoming like one of the best films ever fucking made. Like Shawshank Redemption. Perfect fucking film. Okay. 2 scenes that fuck this movie up, and one of them is the Bruce Wayne scene. Fucking stupid. And I remember being in the theater going, what? This is the first time I literally, in the theater, had a visceral reaction like, wait, what? How the fuck is Bruce Wayne that accessible? Really? He's just playing on a playground and you can go kidnap him and nobody's around? Fuck that! That's not even close to reality. That is not even close to being believable. Not Not even close. This destroys the reality of the film. You have made such a brilliant, realistic, relatable film that now you're showing Arthur Fleck, this fucked up, mentally disturbed character in the slums of Gotham / New York, going and literally could kidnap Bruce Wayne, who is, when they first show him playing on the fucking playground, and there's a wall that maybe is 3 feet high. Watch it again. I swear to God, it is like a 3-foot high wall that Arthur could easily go over, kidnap him, go over, and leave. It's not until 5 seconds later that they're in that, they show that big iron, and then he's talking through the iron gate. No, you forget the fact that 5 fucking seconds later, before, you showed him, and there was a stone wall that was 3 feet high. 0 security. 0. And no one around. Okay? I am passionate about this. Why? Because it ruins a fucking perfect film. Perfect fucking film. And this is only one of 2 scenes that ruins the entire film. Okay. When I first watched this, I felt like that scene did not belong in this. Why? Okay, there are multiple reasons why. 1, this is not a comic book movie. We are not focused on Batman at all. 0%. We are focused on Joker. Okay? So I'm completely fine with the talks of Thomas Wayne on the TV, and her believing that Thomas Wayne is his biological father. I'm perfectly fine with that. That does not bother me, because we're in that world. I get it, Joker. We're in that world, but we are not focused on Bruce. We don't. Who gives a fuck about Bruce? Honestly, they never even should have shown. Barely Bruce Wayne. There's 1 or 2 scenes that I'm like, okay, fine with Bruce Wayne, but for the most part, never even should have shown him. This scene should not, in my opinion, when I first watched it and walked out of the theater, I said, these 2 scenes don't belong. Okay, that's what I thought. But then after seeing it multiple times, I said, okay, I have a feeling about how they could have changed that scene that would not have destroyed the momentum of the film, the pacing of the film, would not have destroyed the believability of the film, kept the integrity of the film, and still would have gotten across what you wanted to get across. Okay, so this scene, forget the fucking 12 shots being shot out of the 6-shooter, because that happens all the fucking time. Okay, perfectly fine. But a 3-foot wall separating you and Bruce Wayne, who nobody is around, that you could totally kidnap in a second, in a heartbeat, makes no sense. Okay, what would make sense? If you want to keep this scene, maybe not everything that you do in this scene could stay. No, not everything you did in this scene could stay. But the little pieces that are important, that he talks to Bruce Wayne, that he thinks he's his brother, that he talks to Alfred, and Alfred says, your mom's crazy. Okay, those little things are important. I get it. If you want those in the scene, this is my alternate thought of this scene. What if Alfred had taken Bruce shopping? Okay? Wherever, getting presents, who knows what, getting him whatever. Okay, Thomas Wayne and Martha, is her name Martha? Martha Wayne are busy doing something else. So Alfred takes Bruce shopping. Okay, they're coming out of the shop, which Arthur could have plenty of access to, because it's just a shop in New York, downtown New York, let's say. Okay, and so he's wandered into he's normally secluded into. I keep saying New York. Sorry. Gotham. Okay, so he lives in the slums of Gotham, but he could easily, visit the rich parts of Gotham, even though he doesn't have the money to do anything or buy anything. That's fine. So Alfred has taken Bruce shopping. Fine. Okay, they're coming out of wherever they're shopping. Bruce is running in front of him because he's young. Yes, he's trying to get to the car. Somebody's opened the door for him to get in the car. Arthur stops him and talks to him. Okay, Alfred is busy with maybe getting bags or maybe talking to somebody. Somebody has stopped him, who knows what, okay, off to the side. So he has his little talk with Bruce, and then Arthur interrupts, or Alfred, I keep saying Arthur. Alfred interrupts Arthur talking to Bruce, and they have that exchange. Bruce gets in the car, and they get in the car, okay? That's a completely acceptable alternative in this stupid fucking scene that doesn't belong. Okay, you can get the same thing across. You can say the same things perfectly fine. Okay, that is a reasonable, that makes sense, other than Bruce playing on a playground next to a 3-foot stone fence on his property where anybody could just come and kidnap him, and nobody was there. Nobody was there. This alternative at least gives an illusion of security. So Alfred was there. He's not totally inaccessible, but kind of, because Alfred comes and stops him, and because Arthur so it works better. It feels more realistic, and it works better. This scene didn't work, in my opinion. Again, plenty of people can say I'm full of shit. I have a very strong opinion about that scene. It makes no sense to me, and it bothers the shit out of me. Okay. Moving on. Okay. So when Arthur's mom goes to the hospital, and his girlfriend, Sophie, is waiting with her. I'm going to go get coffee. Okay, fine. And then Murray Franklin comes on the TV. That is such a fucking amazing, brilliant, perfect scene where finally Murray acknowledges Arthur's existence. So a dream he has always had. Just think about, you've always dreamed about being on the David Letterman show. I always dreamed about being on the David Letterman show. And then he says your name, or he says something about you. And you're like, whoa, holy shit, like part of my dream. I'm not on the show, but part of my, he knows who I am. Sorry. He knows who I am. So that beautiful, realization that he comes to, oh my God, he knows it. And then Murray makes fun of him. You can see the change again. Fucking Joaquin Phoenix deserved the award. You can see the change in his demeanor, his expression, his face, to know that Murray is making fun of him. He finally acknowledges his existence, a dream that he's always had, and what is he doing? He's making fun of him. He's making fun of his comedy. And it's just, you can see the wheel, you can literally fucking see the wheels turning in his brain. And how dare he? And how hurtful and how horrible he must feel. And you see that all in his expression. It's so perfect. Joaquin Phoenix, oh my God. So perfect. His last hope. So right after that, they show, because he's so hurt and so torn up, right, literally, the next scene is him in bed, curled up in bed, in pain, in mental anguish. And you see the paper on the ground that says, "Kill the rich, a new movement, ? Okay? Again, this perfectly fits Challenge 19, rich versus poor. So the newspaper says, "Kill the rich, a new movement, ? Do we think, because we hear on the news that people are on the vigilante side, is this, now that Murray has let him down, and I've had this feeling before in my life, where somebody, I've talked about how my father was not a great father figure, and throughout my life there have been people who have been in my life that kind of feel like a father figure, or express that kind of feeling. And they've always let me down, unfortunately. They've always let me down. And this is one of the reasons why I feel like I should never meet Arnold, because I feel like he's only going to let me down. And here it is, having that same sentiment of like someone you looked up to letting you down. Do we believe now that the people believing in the vigilante are now Arthur's new hope and something that he can cling to? I don't know. I don't know. But it feels like that. It feels like that. Shit. Okay. This review is already almost an hour long, and here I am. I got like 12 pages fucking... Okay. If you don't like long reviews, you should probably stop now. Okay. So, again, second scene. Remember I said there's 2 scenes that fuck this movie up? Scene number 2. The second scene that fucks this movie up is when he goes to see Wayne at the screening of Modern Times. Fucking stupid! Okay, I said it. I yelled. Okay. There is no way. It is unbelievable that many rich people in a screening is not, better protected. And he can just find his way in and meet. No. With that many protesters outside, that there's not better security inside? No. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Okay. If you need that scene, if you need that exposition, if you need that contrast, that connection, okay, that discussion between the two, here's an alternate idea. It's brilliant to show when Arthur walks through the crowd, that he's like, everybody's on my side. Brilliant. Fucking wonderful. Keep him in the crowd. Okay? Let the screening of Modern Times come out. Fuck showing Modern Times. I'm sorry. I mean, yes, I get... Moving on. I'm not going to make this a 5-hour. Okay, the people are coming out of the screening. Thomas Wayne is coming out of the screening. People are, reporters are running up, blah, 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 whatever. Arthur gets through and interrupts, Thomas Wayne. I'm Arthur Fleck. I'm Penny's son. I'm your, even if I'm your son or whatever, that stops Thomas Wayne to have a quick conversation with him, reject him the same way he does in the fucking bathroom, which is absolutely stupid and ridiculous that they did that in the bathroom, and nobody's there. Just, one of the 2 scenes that fucked this movie up. Okay, the alternate is he has that interaction amongst everybody else in the crowd as Thomas Wayne is coming out of the screening. He still rejects him, tells him that she was crazy. She adopted you. You are not my son. She adopted you. Move on. Move. Everybody moves him out. His bodyguards, whatever, they get him out of there. Okay? Perfect. It got the point across. It didn't destroy the momentum of the film. This film is not about fucking Waynes. This film is about Joker. Cut out all that other shit. Get your point across real quick without focusing on the Waynes. This is not about the Waynes. And those scenes are disrupting and horrible and unbelievable. I don't believe them. I don't. I'm sorry, Todd Phillips, to rain on your parade. I fucking love your movie, and I give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I can't give you a 5-star. Why? Because these 2 scenes don't make sense. They don't. Moving on. Modern Times. Okay, I wrote a little note that Modern Times is literally on the poster, and it is on the same row. If you can see... You can't see... Modern Times, Joker, same row. Okay, so I just had to point out that Modern Times, it was interesting that they show Modern Times in this movie, and it's on the same row as Joker on the poster. Arthur getting in the fridge is such a great scene. I have suffered from severe depression, suicidal depression, that has gotten me to do like really fucking stupid things at moments of really deep depression and like being like in the middle of it, not knowing what the fuck is going on or what the fuck you're doing, or there is zero sense to what you're doing. I get it. And him getting in the fridge, whoever wrote that, hands down to you, because it feels real. Something that random, that ridiculous, that insane, to fucking empty the fridge, get in and literally shut it on yourself, feels like something I would do at the deepest part of when I was having really suicidal depression thoughts, you know? And to capture that in this film was amazing. Like, wow. I appreciate that scene. It was done very well. So when he puts himself in the fridge, and then you hear the girl call on the phone inviting him on the Murray show, and then he picks up and talks to her about being on the Murray show, I wonder, does Arthur ever really think that getting on the Murray show is a ray of hope? Or does he always think, because at this point, has Murray let him down enough that he thinks this is a way of striking back? I don't know. That's a conundrum. Does he ever really think that getting on the show is a final last ray of hope? You know, his note in the book, which I'll bring up later, and his rehearsals of suicide, maybe it is finally a last hope, and he wants his death to make more sense than his life. CENTS, sense, money, sense. Maybe he does view this as a last hope to make meaning of his life somehow. I don't know. Brian Tyree Henry, the little scene where he's the clerk at the mental hospital. I love him. I think he's fantastic. I saw him in Child's Play, the remake of Child's Play. He was so good. And I was like, this guy's got to do something else. And then when he was in this, I'm like, this guy has to be, but please give him something to do, because these two scenes have something to do, but not enough. Like, here's a brilliant actor. You can already see he's a great actor. And you're like, please give him something. And then when he did Causeway and was nominated for Best Supporting, I was like, finally, good. You know, here's a worthwhile actor. You can already tell by even the smallest of parts that he is really good, and give him something to do. And I was glad that they did that. Sorry, side note on an already too long review, but damn, he's good. Okay. It's near indescribable, the feeling of him finding out that his mom really is mentally ill and that he is really adopted. That revelation, and that he's laughing and the snot coming down from his face, it's not just the performance. It's how we feel as the audience. For him to have so many things go wrong already, and then to realize that his mom is crazy, to have evidence that she is crazy and that he is adopted, which she has never said. It's fucking keep kicking the guy while he's down. Like, whoa, shit. It's near indescribable how gut-wrenching and heart-wrenching that is. And then literally right after, he's so hurt and in so much pain from this revelation. The one place he goes to is his girlfriend's house, and then we find out it's not his girlfriend. He made that up. He dreamed that up. That was all fake. And the revelation of that is brilliantly done when he's sitting there at the table and she freaks out that he's in there, and she doesn't know who he is, really. Oh my God. As the audience now, we're like, holy shit, we've been put through the ringer at this point. At this point now, we're like, Jesus, now we've been put through the ringer. We feel so much connection with Arthur and so much compassion for Arthur and his situation, and then we as the audience, like, holy shit, we believe that could he be Thomas Wayne's son? But then to find out he's not, and that she's crazy, and we wouldn't have thought that, and then he made up this girlfriend that's just not, like, we've been put through the ringer. Oh, Jesus. It's wow. And then when he kills his mom in the hospital. This I am not a social worker. I'm not a therapist. I'm not an expert. But in my opinion, this scene is a brilliant example of a sociopath. How he can literally say, I thought my life was a tragedy, but I realized it's a comedy. And then he kills her with zero emotion. Kills her, looks out the window, smoking a cigarette. Nope, no problem. This is the sociopathic Joker that we want. This is the Joker. This is the point where Arthur becomes Joker. In my opinion, in this film, this is the point where he's no longer Arthur. The fact that my mom is not my mom, who I thought was my dad is not my dad, my girlfriend is not my girlfriend. This is where who am I? I'm nobody. Who am I? I'm Joker. I thought my life was a tragedy, but I realized it's a comedy. Joker. Holy shit. And his first act as Joker is he kills his foster mom. And has no emotion about it whatsoever. He's not happy, he's not elated. He doesn't not like it, doesn't like it. Who gives a fuck? Sociopathic behavior. Perfect. Holy shit. And then when he's rehearsing for the Murray show, how is this not Taxi Driver? Come on, people. This is a perfect replica of Travis Bickle. You talking to me? Are you talking to me? You must be talking to me. There's nobody else. Oh my God. The brilliance of the two performances. I'm not saying Joaquin Phoenix has had a career like Robert De Niro, but I am saying that Robert De Niro's performance at that point in Taxi Driver and Joaquin Phoenix's performance in Joker are both equally fucking brilliant. Brilliant. And this scene is like a direct ripoff. The two are perfect because Arthur is rehearsing committing suicide, which he believes he will do on the Murray show, and Travis Bickle is rehearsing killing the senator at the rally, which he fucks up. But, well, he doesn't fuck up. He gets... Anyway, it's been a little while since I've seen that. He doesn't fuck it up. The police find out who he is, or the Secret Service find out, and he runs away. So the difference between that is that at the end of Taxi Driver, we get a good guy. He does the good thing. He does the right thing. Whereas in the end of Joker, we get Joker, who's a villain, who's like one of the best fucking... Like, we get the villain. Anyway, not doing a review of Taxi Driver right now. Okay, how is that not like a direct rip? Like fucking fantastic. When he kills Randall, again, perfect sociopathic behavior. I love so when Randall and Gary come to, like, we heard your mom die, you know, they brought him something to drink, and he's got that paint on his face. I mean, that, god dang it, I didn't want this to be a 5-hour review. I'm sorry that this review is so long, but there's so much to say about this movie. When he is painting his face right then white, he's painting his face white in the mirror, and then he literally paints his tongue white. If there was ever a scene that really embodied the actor becoming the character, that's it. Holy fuck. He is so broken and fractured that he's painting his face, and then he starts to paint his tongue, and his face is just fucking blank. And then he smokes, and then continues to paint his face. Like, what the fuck? Like, that is brilliant. If he didn't win the award, I would have been pissed that year, because that is brilliant. Side note. Okay, so when he kills Randall, when Randall, literally that same scene, that right after that, Randall and Gary come over to console him. When he kills him, and the blood spray all over the half of his white face, gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous. Like, the coloring, that are just gorgeous. But then perfect sociopathic behavior. The guy's fucking laying on the ground. Gary's freaking out. He's got blood all over half of his face, and he said, you know, I'm going to be on the Murray Show. Do you ever watch the Murray Franklin Show? What? Holy shit. Total sociopathic behavior. Has like zero feeling about what he just did. And he's talking about the Murray Show. And then when he tells him, I'm not going to hurt you, go ahead and go. And when Gary starts to go, and he goes, and he scares him, perfect Joker behavior. That's so you got like the perfect sociopathic behavior, and then the perfect Joker like joke, like he scares him, like brilliant. Thank you, Todd Phillips. This movie is near perfect. And this scene is an example of how brilliant this movie is. Perfectly sociopathic, perfectly Joker, like just, oh my god. Wow. Oh, and at that moment, so yes, he becomes Joker when he kills his mom, in my opinion. He is broken down self. He has no idea who he is. That he's realized that his life is a comedy. He is Joker now. But when he finally accepts it is after he's killed Randall and Gary has left. He has finally accepted who he is. And then what do we get? That fucking amazing music. Rock and Roll Part 2 by Gary Glitter. Oh my god, that is perfect. And then he's dancing down the steps that so many times were so in the film, those ominous steps that have been so suppressive and so like drudging. It's such a burden, those steps. Now to see that music playing and that amazing, and he's dancing down the steps and oh my god, this movie is too brilliant to have those two scenes that fucked it up. This movie is too brilliant to have those scenes that fucked it up. Come on, Tom. Oh my god. So this scene is gorgeous. That he's finally accepted who he is, and it's reflected in the music choice and him dancing down those steps and coming down. Oh my god. Wow. Like, wow. And then he runs away from the police, blah, 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 blah. On the subway. So, right after that, when the police are chasing him, he gets on the subway and everybody's wearing the masks and everybody's... What did I... Oh, no. I killed the bus driver. How is this not a beautiful representation of that opening scene of Dark Knight, where he's got everybody playing to his tune? This is that. He's got everybody playing to his tune. The entire subway is wearing the masks, and he takes one of their masks, and the police are chasing him, and then eventually the police get beat up by the protesters. The protesters are beating each other up. And he's just, dancing in the delight of what he has accomplished as Joker, as the symbol. This is perfectly that opening scene of The Dark Knight where everybody's stealing for him, and he makes off with all of it. Holy shit! How is that not? Oh my God. Wow. You've captured Joker. These two movies brilliantly have captured... Anyway. So I said before, did he ever think that being on the Murray Show was hope? Or did he always view it as a way to fight back, or a way to strike back at Murray? When he gets on the show and Murray asks him to... Now, he's rehearsed committing suicide in that scene I've already talked about. When Murray comes and sees him in the dressing room and he says, "Please introduce me as Joker," and he says, "I can do that," and he walks out, shuts the door, he again rehearses shooting himself. Okay, so if we go along with what the filmmaker is trying to tell us, we believe that he has still decided that he is going to commit suicide. Okay? So if we go along with what the filmmaker... I never once believed that he was going to commit suicide. Why? Because he's the Joker. You can't have him commit suicide. Okay, so if you set that aside and just let yourself be in the film, in the world that the director has made, writer-director, who in this case is the same person, let yourself be in that world. Okay? He is still committed to committing suicide on the Murray Show. When Murray asks him to tell a joke, and he pulls his joke book out, what does he see in the joke book? That note we saw earlier in the film that says, "I hope my death makes more CENT sense than my life." That is where the character in the film has decided, no, I'm not going to commit suicide. What am I going to do? I'm going to kill Murray. This is not the end for me. And when he tells Murray, you're awful. The brilliance of Joaquin Phoenix's performance in this film, his dancing feet, his juddering jaw, you can see the anxiety. You can see, it is palpable, the anxiety that he has, because he doesn't know what's going to come next. What am I going to do? What's going to come next? I think he's already thought he's going to shoot him, but is this going to happen? Is this real? Is this, holy shit, it is literally palpable. And I remember seeing this movie in the theater, thinking to myself, he better fucking shoot him. I wanted him to shoot him. Oh, God, I wanted him to shoot him. And I don't know if you're on that side or not, but Todd Phillips did such a great job with this film that I am so on Joker's side, on Arthur's side, that I want him to shoot Murray. That I have created a villain out of Murray in my mind, just like he has, that I'm like, if he doesn't shoot Murray, fuck this movie. Like, literally, I remember thinking to myself in the theater, if he does not shoot him, fuck this movie. Literally, I'm not joking. And when he did, I literally, oh my God, I didn't jump for joy in the theater because I didn't want to interrupt. But when I watch it at home, I jump, oh my, yes! That's what I want. It's one of the most brilliant film payoffs of all time. Like, one of the other ones I can think of is Sicario. Anyway, I won't get into that. But this is so one of the best payoffs. You finally get, this is the Joker we've been waiting for. And it's perfect when he shoots him, and then he's still freaked out, and he's still all that anxiety when he's looking, and his foot is still going, and he's still like anxious after he shoots. It's, oh my God. And then the pandemonium in the theater, this is what we want. And then he gets up and he shoots him again a couple of times, I think twice, and then he takes the camera, and this is the Joker. This is what we wanted. It's the culmination of the film. Yes. Wow. What an amazing movie. Todd Phillips, you fucked it up with 2 stupid fucking scenes. Sorry, in my opinion, that's how I feel. 2 scenes fucked up this movie. Stopped it from being perfect. Okay. A couple of more little quick at the end when everything's all topsy-turvy after he's killed Murray and the city's going to shit. When they show Thomas Wayne coming out of the movie theater and they show that iconic, like, you know, killing the Waynes and the Pearls and the blah, blah, blah. I love that. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't disrupt the momentum of the film, the momentum of what's going on. I am not against ever showing the Waynes. I'm not. This is about Joker, but this is also in the world of Batman. And to show this is perfectly fine. And it doesn't and how quick they do it, it doesn't disrupt anything. That's a brilliant scene. That's done very well, and I'm perfectly fine with that ending scene. I don't care how many other people think that was dumb and showing the pearls was just overdone. This was brilliant. I thought it was great. It's what we wanted. It's perfect. I thought of a joke. So at the very, very end, when he's, after all that, like I said in the beginning of this review, I would have been perfectly fine if they would have ended it when he's dancing on top of the police car and the whole city's in riot. I felt like that could have been a great ending. We could have gone to black. We could have had him laugh like they do at the end and been done with it. I'd have been fine with that. Okay? I'd have been fine with that. But they don't. They take it a step further. They show him that insane, real close-up of him laughing at the insane asylum, smoking, him laughing, and the social worker's there, and he says, I thought of a joke. She says, well, tell it to me. And he says, you wouldn't get it. Holy fuck. Yes! And that quick scene of Bruce in the alley. I don't agree or disagree with that. That quick scene when he says, I thought of a joke, and they do that quick scene of Bruce in the alley, his parents are dead. I don't agree or disagree with that. I'm not sure how I really feel about that. I don't know one way or the other. But then he says, you wouldn't get it. Perfect. And then when he dances down the hall, or walking down the hall, kind of dancing, and the bloody footprints, oh my God! Just and then the ridiculous yellow script credits, and then him running back and forth. as much as I want the ending to be him dancing on top of the police car and the riot, that ending is equally as brilliant, like equally as amazing with the bloody footprints and then him running back and forth, like equally as both of them are fantastic. Could have been fantastic. Yeah. So the way it ended, perfectly fine. Okay, this review has been way too long already. Sorry. But that's Joker. That's my take of Joker. I could literally talk about it all night long, as you know. But if you haven't seen it and you listen to this, I probably ruined a bunch of stuff. But go see it. It's still worth it. So, I will say goodnight. I don't know what their next review will be. And I will try to get you milestones on the poster instead of every single thing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you listened to this whole thing, even though I've talked way too long. Talk to you next time.